Right guys, so I updated the wheel. I'm making a slightly wider wheel because you get a bit of shrinkage with TPU. But also I decided to, what else did I set the diameter here to 13 millimeter. Yeah, and and also I decided to, try try Prusa, the Prusa slicer. So you can come down here, again 3D print, but this time I pointed to, custom, and I pointed to the Prusa slicer, which lives in the program files, Prusa 3D Prusa slicer. And so it brings it straight into here. The nice thing about Prusa slicer, it does support touch, right? So you can just pinch and zoom. I've added layers and perimeters, top and bottom, 444, walls 4, top and bottom 4. I could probably get away without any infill in that, actually. I don't need a brim because it's pretty sticky TPU and it's quite broad at the base, so we get away with that. Let's give it a slice and just rock it over there and zoom in a little bit. And there you go. Now, what is good about Prusa Slicer? Remember I was saying in the Cura, there's a bit of a gap just there. Look, see that? It's minimal, and it means this material will ooze out and globule together. But what's interesting is it's concentric. Look, yeah, it's all concentric, and it is noticeable where the head will simply travel around and around and around. You can hear it. You can hear the difference between the Cura slicer, where I had, no matter what I did, I was still seeing tiny amounts of infill necessary, an infill that I couldn't be concentric. It would not draw circles, whereas the Prusa slicer does, and you can see it quite clearly. These little kind of jaggy, these lines seem to be consistent with output from Fusion 360. They're called small holes. Now you can actually come in here, select the object, right click on it and say, where is it? It's right in front of my nose, it's got to be. Yeah, it is in front of my nose. Fix through net fab. And what this then does is it will try and repair any gaps, any holes. If there were any troublesome ones in here anyway, it's going to complain. It just wouldn't slice. So that is pretty much what I've been doing, and it is noticeable when you are printing. If you're looking at this, this is basically the same thing. See it going around and around in circles? Whereas in Cura, you're definitely going to get some, if you get where you got infill, you're going to get a little bit of head judder. And I do like Prusa Slicer. I mean, in some ways, Cura Slicer is very good. I can't really fault it, but I just love the simplicity of Prusa Slicer. I really do. I think there's something about it, and it is very efficient on material. Cura, it's pretty good, but maybe not so much. It's one of these things. You either get it on one slicer or the other. But I just thought I'd share that with you. And then of course you can just send this straight to the printer because you've got the printer set up with the API, and you set that under your printer settings. I think it is. There you go. You set up your details with your API key and everything to point to Octoprint, and you set your bed height, your whatever it is, for the printer profile. Your machine limits, which are based on the bed, the height, temperatures, maximum feed rates, etc. Your extruder. So this is all set up with the same settings that are in Cura, including the retraction rate of 6 millimeters. Z-hop 0.25, retraction speed, extra prime, as this is known as in Cura. They call it extra length on restart. It simply means that when it pumps the material back into the head, it adds a little more based upon how much retract. And you can do a calculation around this, but I think I pulled this one off the internet, and it experimented too. And I found some profiles, and eventually I got to where I wanted. So that comes out pretty good. And yeah, I'm quite impressed with this. So I have also created a modified hub in Fusion 360. So this is a roller hub, and it's a slightly wider hole. I'm printing this in black. I've got some black, which is really good, and it's very smooth. It prints out consistently. The holes are consistent. The material, way it flows, is consistent. And I have press fitted a few of these. I did make this hole instead of 6 millimeters across, which is a little bit tight. I made it 6.5 millimeters across. I think you can measure it that way. Maybe I'll just have to go and put that top, select that object. Yeah, it's an object now, that's the thing. Excuse me. But I know it is 6 millimeters across there. I'll try it again. If I go to inspect, measure. So I go from here to here. There you go. 6.5 millimeters, look, yeah, is the diameter. So I've made this a little bit wider and given a little bit of shrinkage or whatever you get. The hub should fit a little bit smoother out without me having to put it into a vise. Yeah, so there you go. Small improvements, but like every iteration, you learn as you go. Barrel is slightly wider, 30 millimeters, and I will experiment with some different size barrels. So it pretty much marries to the existing setup. Yep, that's it. Thanks for